how the USA spends almost $1 trillion every year on military power. What if I told you that one country spends more on its military than the next 10 countries combined? More than China, more than Russia, more than India, more than Saudi Arabia, the UK, Germany, France, Japan, South Korea, Italy, all together. That country is the United States. Every single year, America spends around $1.5 trillion on defense. But where does all this money actually go? Let's take a closer look. The scale of spending. Out of roughly $850+ billion, $180 billion goes to military personnel, salaries, housing, and benefits for over 1.3 million active duty troops. Over $300 billion goes to operations and maintenance, fuel, training, repairs, and spare parts to keep equipment ready. Around $160 billion goes to procurement, buying new weapons, ships, aircraft, and vehicles. More than $140 billion goes to research and development, designing future weapons, AI systems, hypersonic missiles, and space defense programs. And that's just the part of defense budget. It does not fully include veterans' healthcare and benefits, nuclear weapons programs under the Department of Energy, homeland security spending, interest payments on past war borrowing. When economists calculate total national security spending, the number often crosses $1 trillion per year. America's global military presence is world-class. The United States operates around 750 military bases in more than 80 countries. Bases are everywhere, like in Iraq, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Germany, Japan, South Korea. These bases are entire cities, barracks and housing, airports and runways, ports and docks, warehouses filled with weapons and supplies, fuel depots, repair facilities, hospitals, and so on. Maintaining all of this costs $50 to $100 billion every year, not including combat operations or emergency deployments. Now, let's talk about the weapons and aircrafts. F-35 Lightning II. The F-35 Lightning II is the most expensive fighter jet ever built. One jet costs $140 million. Operating it for 1 hour costs $35,000. The pilot's helmet alone costs $400,000, combining night vision, infrared cameras, and a full battlefield display. The US plans to buy nearly 2,000 of these jets, making it the most expensive weapons program in history. A projected $1.7 trillion over its lifetime. Now let's talk about the huge warships like the USS Gerald Ford.
160 million square.
The USS Gerald R. Ford is the largest and most expensive aircraft carrier ever built. Cost over $13 billion. Crew, they are smaller than older carriers but with more advanced systems. They use advanced technology like electromagnetic aircraft launch system, advanced radar, and weapons. Before deployment, the Navy tests it with 40,000-pound underwater bombs. Even the toilets are expensive. 750 vacuum-powered toilets. If one clogs, the system can fail. Fixing it costs $400,000. One carrier strike group, including escort ships, submarines, and aircrafts, costs billions annually. Now let's go deep into missiles. Cruise missiles cost $1.6 million each. Launched in seconds, destroyed in minutes. Loitering munitions like the Switchblade 300 cost around $6,000 each. Single-use, precise, and very deadly. Navy and Air Force. The US Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, 68 submarines, over 90 destroyers and cruisers. Each Virginia-class submarine, $3 billion. Each Arleigh Burke-class destroyer costs $1.8 billion. The Air Force operates thousands of aircraft. Fighters like F-35, F-22, F-16, F-15. Bombers like B-2, B-52, B-21 radar, which will be in the future. Transport planes like tankers, reconnaissance planes. Flying and maintaining these fleets costs tens of billions annually. They also use high-tech systems. Modern warfare relies on radar and sensor systems that detect threats hundreds of miles away. Hypersonic missiles travel faster than Mach 5. Cybersecurity for military networks. Satellite networks for communication, navigation, and intelligence. Even one advanced radar system can cost hundreds of millions, but it protects entire fleets. Nuclear arsenal. The United States maintains around 50 nuclear warheads, modernizing the triad, land missiles, submarines, and bombers, is projected to cost $60 billion to $1 trillion over 30 years. This includes new ICBMs, nuclear submarines, and stealth bombers. The cost of war. Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan cost trillions. Afghanistan cost over $2 trillion. Iraq cost $1.9 trillion. Long-term veterans care and interest payment push the total closer to $6 trillion. The US defense economy is permanent, employing millions of people. Defense contractors, engineers, factories, technology companies. Comparing military spending to domestic needs, 1 year of US military spending could fund decades of health public education, healthcare improvements, infrastructure projects. Yet the military dominates the federal budget. Power versus responsibility. Every advanced jet, missile, and aircraft carrier reflects a choice. Global dominance or domestic investment, security or social programs. The US military is unmatched. Aircraft carriers like floating cities, jets that operate like supercomputers, missiles costing millions per shot, overseas bases like entire cities. The United States military is a global machine, operating on land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. It projects power anywhere, it maintains dominance over rivals, and it costs nearly $1 trillion every year. This is the scale of modern military power, unimaginable in size, unimaginable in cost, and unmatched anywhere in history. The question is no longer whether America spends enough. The question is, at what cost? And for what future?